So I'm saying like this. It's not, I understand. It's not saying a halacha that you have to start learning Mishnah at the age 10 until the age of 15. The pshat is that the Chazal are telling us a person develops from age 5 till age 10, that he reaches a certain level of seichel that's called Mishnah. And when he gets to the age 15, he gets to a certain level of seichel that's called Gemara. And Bialdusi, I still remember that there were boys that asked Rav Zundel Kreuzer in Cheder, they asked him, why is it that we learn Gemara, we're not 15 yet? So the answer, just because you sit in front of open Gemara, it doesn't mean Gemara. When the Chazal said Gemara, they didn't mean what you sit in front of an open Gemara. Pshat is like this, there's a certain development of the brain that's the development of kashas and trutzim that happens at the age of 15. Now, does that mean that from age 10 to age 15 you should learn only Mishnayos and not Gemara? In a perfect world, you should. That's what you should do. But it seems that the Chachmei Adoros understood that this is not a perfect world. It's like this.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
When did the world stop being perfect? Now, according to Chazal, it was perfect in the time of Chazal.
And the time of Chazal was perfect, and it went down. It's very hard to know.
And maybe the time of the Maral and the Gra also.
The Maral and the Gra were complaining about the Derech HaLimud and the Chadorim, that they don't learn enough Chumash and Tanakh, and the Maral was complaining that they're mefalpel too much and they don't learn a lot of Gemara. According to the Maral and the Gra, the world already then was not perfect. But you see, I want to talk more about the theory, and then I'll get down to the practical. So it's like this. In the perfect world, it should be like that you should learn exactly the way it says in the Mishnah. At age 5 start Mikra, at age 10 Mishnah, at age 15 Gemara. Now, there's a problem that, and again, I want you should remember that I'm not talking about the practical, I'm talking about the theory. And because of that, I want to make it clear, I'm talking to Yechidim now. The Hamonam is not going to understand what I'm saying now. Clear. Anybody who belongs to the Hamonam will not understand what I'm saying now. Only Yechidim will understand this. In theory, it should have been exactly the way it says in the Mishnah. But there is a problem over here. A person, in the later Doros, as the Doros got weaker and weaker, the mind became weaker and the personality became weaker. And I'm going to tell you a small story. There was somebody that asked me to learn with his son Mishnayos Seder Taurus, because, and this is a zilberman person, obviously the father sent the child to zilberman because, that'll be wonderful, he'll learn through the whole Mishnayos and he'll know it all, he'll be able to say it over like a parrot, the whole Mishnayos and the whole Gemara, and he'll say, and the father doesn't understand that there's more to it than that. So, and he doesn't understand there's such thing as a yeshiva world, and he never heard of Rav Baruch Ber, never heard of Rav Shimon Shkop, and never heard of all that. He's about tshuva. And he sent his son to Zilberman. Very good. Now my son sends his son to Cheder with Shita Zichru, which is the mamutza, the in between zilberman and all the other chadar. And my son is very happy, and I'm very happy with my grandson. But what I want to say is like this: this boy, a father had to make sure that he finishes Shisha Sidrei Mishnah by his bar mitzvah. They should be able to say, I didn't make a siyum on the Shisha Sidrei Mishnah. That's bar mitzvah. Isn't that cute that at the bar mitzvah you make a siyum on Shisha Sidrei Mishnah? Wow, it's just wonderful, such a thing. So how's he going to do it? But you can't just learn the last Mishnah and Uktzin. You have to learn the whole Seder Taras. You should call it a siyum. So I tried to race with him through the whole Seder Taras. But when I got to Oholos, the second Masechta in Seder Taras, at certain places I had to stop and think. I just couldn't go further. How does this fit in with this? And how does this fit? You should know that in Masechtas Oholos, from the 4th perk till the 15th perk, like around 10 prokim of Mishnahs, they're all one inyan. It's like mamish one inyan. I don't know if you have in the whole Shas such a thing. Do you know that Reb Chaim Brisker, most of his Torah is on Hilchos Tumas Mes, on all those? No, but it's not known in the yeshiva world. Some of the most brilliant pieces are on all those. The only one that understood it was the Chazon Ish, maybe. He argued on it. And I was learned a little bit with my son Yosef. We learned this, especially Perek Kaveres, the 9th Perek. Wow, goodness. See, so it came to a point I had to stop sometimes to, wait, how does this Mishnah fit in with everything else that we've known till now? So this boy says, no, Bonarus, let's run. So I said, Bonavin. You want to run? Let's try to understand. Now, what does that mean? Now, I'm not saying I'm going to take one story. I'm going to judge a whole community according to one story. But we all do it. But I want to be careful not to fall into that pit.
It's not such a pit.
Maybe. But what I do want to say is like this. In our generation, there's a problem that a youngster could think we're trying to run, to learn as much information as we can. But when you grow up, you see, what do you get out of a lot of information? But you didn't take one piece and understand it and absorb it and make it part of you. You weren't konim. There's such thing as kinyonei Torah. The Torah should become part of you. And that's a big problem. He doesn't know this piece of information. He knows a lot of information, this boy. But he doesn't know that there's such a thing as, let's take one little piece of Torah and understand it. I once heard from Rav Moshe Salant, Zecher Tzadik Livrocha. He just was nifter a few weeks ago.
Yeah, he was Menachem Avel by, Yaakov Yehuda, his son.
You went there?
No, I saw him a few days later in the street.
Oh, he knew who you are.
Yeah, I spoke to him a few times.
Oh, so he once said to me,
you know Yaakov Yehuda?
You learned that in the comment.
Oh.
Yeah, he didn't come from the beginning, but he was there. He said to me, Moshe Slan said that when it says on the Torah, Arucha me'eretz midor, chava min yam, the Torah is wider than the yam. It's not just the whole Torah, it's every piece of Torah is Rechova Miniyam. Let's take one Mishnah and enjoy it, feel good from it. Let the light of the Torah of that Mishnah shine into us. Let's get high from one Mishnah. There is such a thing. And let's understand that one Mishnah before we go further. There was once I learned, and I just remember in the Kol of Rav Moshe Salant. Do you remember there was somebody there, Avram Mintzberg?
Mintzberg, the Hatan of Freiburg.
Oso Tzadik. So
Marie.
He once said to me, "What do I have to What do I have to go further for? I'm enjoying this piece. I'm enjoying this. We were learning Shulchan Aruch the other day. We were learning. I'm enjoying this Sif, and I'm enjoying this Shach. Where do I have to go further? It's so good. He's saying so good. He's on the next world already. My sister, sorry, she took care of his daughter. I think she's still taking care of her. So I'm saying to know there is such a thing. To know. I'm not talking about doing it. I'm not talking about how to do it. It could take 30 years until a person reaches this level. But just to know there is such a thing is very, very important. I once heard from Rav Abramsky, he said, when you see him...
You had a connection with Rav Abramsky?
Now, I used to go to his shir on Shabbos, every Shabbos for a year, 2 years.
Broyer Tesha.
No, it was in the dining room of Kol Torah. I used to say shir on Shabbos. And once I went to his house he had a yard sale, we went to his house to daven I think it was Motzei Shabbos, one night, and there was a little a kerosene heater there on this side, and I stood next to this fire, so he yelled at me, "What are you standing next to the fire? You could get burned. Where does it say in the Torah you're supposed to be a caplan?" That's what he said to me. Okay. Anyway, Rav Abramsky said that when he saw the palace of the Queen in England, it's called Buckingham Palace, right? Yeah. So you see from the outside, you don't see anything. You see a gate, but inside, you go into that gate, there's a whole palace over there. So he says, every pasuk in the Torah is a gate to go into a big, big palace. Every pasuk in the Torah. But you have to know all these things. Now, in the time of the Mishnah, they knew all this. They knew all this. It was a perfect world. There was a Yetzer Hara then also, I'm not saying, but there was a different kind of Yetzer Hara. It was a perfect world. So they knew all this. Now, but this is one of the basics. Once you have this basic, so what are you going to build on top of this basic Yesod? Mikra, Mishnah, Gemara. And that has a certain amount of years when you do this. But suppose you don't even know that. There's only a Bona roots instead of the Bona Vim doesn't exist. Just let's run. But what about let's understand? The child doesn't know there is such a thing. So he's missing in the whole basis of, not just the basis of Torah, basis of the personality, basis of the Ben Adam, basis of the Seichel, that's the Yesod of a person, the greatness of a person. So what are we going to do? We have to develop, we have to work on that. And because of that, and a lot of other things. How do you know? How do you teach that there is such a thing as thinking? There is such a thing as thinking. Reb Chaim Brisker, he was so deep in thought that his head got so hot. It was a winter day. He went and he stuck his head in the snow. He went outside and stuck his head into the snow because his head got so heated up from thinking. I never knew there is such a thing, that a head could get heated up from thinking. But there was such a thing. But there's even less than that. There's some, they don't know there's such a thing as thinking. Label Weisser, his old Yisham Meid, used to say, a Arab woman, the whole reason why she has a head is to be able to carry baskets on top of it. I still remember. I don't see it anymore, but used to see Arab women with baskets on top of their head like Sorat Fochen. They have a head, they should be able to carry baskets full of fruit on top of their head, and it's balanced and they walk like this. They come as kufa. But there's such a thing as a brain. You ever hear? You have to know there's such a thing as a brain. There's much more to it, and a person can think, and things are not as simple.
Okay, Rob Kaplan, we have a few seconds.